Hey, we have some guests this morning. Well, I don't know if they're really guests, but you might like to know um, that visiting with us today is Andy Tureen and Maggie Brett Tureen, right there in the second row. Yes, and talk about a long timer, Maggie. Um, You're amazing. And they're now married and they live in Vancouver. And I first met Andy when I founded the Yuba Sutter Center for Spiritual Living, and he came and he all he wanted to know on the first day was I going to teach practitioner training? And I thought, well, like, well, not right now, but I wonder if he's out of here if I'm not. But anyway, it was a long, lovely relationship. And then when he retired from the Air Force, he uh, moved up here, and of course, he had already met Maggie, and things were. And so I don't know what that means. You do? Oh, well, that's your mind. But I'm laughing, so it must be my mind too. Oh, okay. So anyway, Andy was a practitioner here for quite some time, and he's an awesome one at that. And speaking of practitioners, so I was remiss in not asking the practitioners to stand. I know all of you are thinking, "Ah," and but why don't you just stand right now so they can see you and know that these are the people here today that are available to do spiritual mind treatment for you for a particular issue, kind of like the healing meditation. And they love to do treatment. So there you go. Okay. And of course, Dr. Carolyn, she started the whole darn thing. Ooh, where would we be without her? I don't know. Um, okay, so I have to get this out of my system as I start my talk because I just thought of it. So I am watching this crazy show. Now, I bet a lot of you have already watched it because when I mention this to people, they go, oh, yeah. Nobody seems to quite have the enthusiasm that I have. But anyway, I am watching on Netflix Lucifer. And no, and none of you, I know, yeah. Okay, so, and I wanted to mention this because to put a little, I know probably as I am sharing my message with you, it's going to come up maybe in weird little phrases that that I say. Um, and it's 6 seasons. It was redone after Fox didn't renew it after the third episode. I know more than you wanted to know, but anyway, and so I have 2 more episodes to watch. And Lucifer is the devil, and you watched it? Lucifer really got tired of being the devil in hell, and he decided to take a vacation to Los Angeles. And then lots of things happen. And for whatever it's worth, oh, is he handsome? Okay, I've used 5 minutes of my 20-minute time. All right. So um, I grabbed this title out of thin air, basically, truth be told, because Crystal was like, I need your talk, I need your talk. And I was in Palm Springs and doing different things. And I saw this little video of Deepak Chopra, and he used this term, and I said, that's it. So what I want to talk about today is the spontaneous fulfillment of desire. So I don't know. I just thought I'd check. Do any of you have desires? All right. Yes, well, I see lots of nodding heads. And actually, I know that you all do because um, I think that if, you know, because a desire is the energy of creation. And oh, what a beautiful time to be talking about this because it is spring, right? So, any of you going to plant a little garden or flowers or something like that? Yeah. So, the basic principle is seed. And what do you do with the seed? Right, you plant it in the soil. And what if it's crappy soil? Yeah, yeah. You supplement it. Okay, very good. Very good. So a seed is your desire, and we have free will, which is why Lucifer was able to come here. And we have free will to choose how we are going to nurture this seed. Okay. So, first of all, I want to break down these words a little bit. And I don't know what order to do these three words, so I'm just going to pick one. So, since I am talking about desire already, a desire is something that causes us to reach out and take our own. And I bet that you haven't, because I can't say that I've really thought about it like that. Um, but we make choices in terms of how we want to live and what's important to us, what our values are, and so we have we have desires. Now, from the Science of Mind textbook, we learn that repressed emotions thwart our desires. It's like choking our a, an emotion, just by definition of the word, is about expressing. An emotion needs to be expressed. There's a lot of people that that are, and occasionally, okay, occasionally I express an emotion in not such a great way, but of course, ideally, learning to express our emotions in a healthy way. One way or another, they have to be expressed. They can be expressed by yelling in your car. They can be expressed by journaling. They can be expressed by talking to a trusted friend or a practitioner or a minister or a therapist or some kind of a counselor. Uh, you know, the opportunities are endless, but express we must. So, desire is that energy, it's a divine urge. It's part of this thing that Ernest refers to, but I don't think he was the first, as an emergent evolution. So emergent, so it needs to happen. Um, so the desire for anything that expresses greater livingness without hurting or harming someone else or anything else, like expressing your anger in a way that hurts somebody else. A desire is a good thing. And it's something that we need to pay attention to within ourselves, because if we don't, we will atrophy. And we certainly won't have very much livingness, freedom, joy, healing, peace. We would be in turmoil all of the time. So, fulfillment, the fulfillment of our desire. Fulfillment is a demonstration of our desire. It always has with it a sense of accomplishment, completion, happiness, satisfaction, hence to feel fulfilled. The fulfillment of a desire, where it's no longer just an idea that we are imaging, it becomes something real in our life with our senses. Now, I think that we kind of use that sixth sense to perceive our emotions. Sometimes they start to manifest in a way that is uncomfortable and causes what one might call cognitive dissonance. And an example, um, an example that came to my mind of that for me was um, I don't know when it started, but I began to have this desire to start my own church. And um, and that desire caused guilt because, well, I also, I had there were a lot of other feelings about it, but the desire to start my own church, number one, that I was very conscious, was that I didn't know I didn't know what Dr. Carolyn would do without me. In a weird way. I mean, you know, but on the other side, the desire was like I started thinking about things that I wanted to do and, oh, I would do it like this. Well, that made me feel guilty. Here is this person that, meant so much to me. And I'm thinking, well, I want to do it differently. So it was difficult. It caused cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance looks like this. That's another story, this thing. Probably won't have time. Um, but one day, I remember this clear as a bell, and I don't remember I remember where I was sitting. We were over at Lakeside Pavilion. We were had that building, and I don't remember what the event was. I remember I was sitting and she was doing something, and I said something to her, and she turned around and she looked at me so with set she was it was quizzical, but it was shocked, and she said something like, well, maybe you should do your own church. So now it was out. I mean, it was out, it came further up to expression for me because I knew, I mean, it was so perfect that she says that or something like that because it was a long time ago. But because because I knew it was true. I knew in that moment, I fully admitted to myself that I really wanted this. I really wanted to do this. And I talked about it with the classes that I taught. And um, so along the way in the demonstration of our desires, there's spontaneous fulfillment before the thing becomes fully orbed to where like with that experience, um, 8 9 8 to 10 years later, I was complete with that. Ooh, now what the heck, you know? And so desire is an amazing thing because things that we want, once we really start to get clear about what it is that we want, then many times the expression of that, the demonstration of that, the spontaneous fulfillment of that is a process along the way. And that is part of our emergent evolution. It's part of our spiritual growth. It's part of the way that it should be. And if you're a perfectionist, maybe, or an idealist, and speaking uh, for myself, the ideal can really get in your way when the ideal is like I should be, or well, if it's not this, because when a seed is planted, whether it's a desire in you or something in nature, when that seed is planted, begins to rise up within us, that seed has every single thing in it that is necessary for the fulfillment of that idea. And in order for us to cooperate with that creative process, we have to do a whole lot of letting go, of non attachment, of trusting the process, of allowing ourselves to fail, to not get it quite right, to experiment. What else? What else have you experienced happens along the way? Huh? To do treatment, of course. That's, yes, that is the, thank you, making me jump ahead. To trust the, bingo. Oh, I must be doing it wrong. Oh, this isn't right. This must be a mistake. Doubt. Better look at my notes. Okay. So, I want to read. This feels like a good time. So I printed this from the Science of Mind textbook, and it's oh no, that's the treatment for peace. Uh, Last week, Reverend Kathy did a workshop on Chat GPT. Um, for those of you that attended, wasn't it great? It was fun. Yeah, it was really interesting. So yeah, I that somebody said, Kathy said, Reverend Kathy said, so let's ask Chat GPT to write a spiritual mind treatment for us. First, she had already printed out what it gave as the steps of spiritual mind treatment, and it was right on target. It was expressed so great, and like this treatment, somebody said, then she said, well, let's write a treatment. What do somebody want? And they said, no more wars. So I'm thinking, well, that should be stated in the affirmative for peace. And Kathy said, no, well, let's just try it. No, and she put it in, and it decided to write a statement for peace, a spiritual one, and it gave us chills. It was really fantastic. So I may not have time to read it to you, but just wanted to share that. Okay. Um, so this is in the chapter called Causes and Conditions of the textbook, and it's fairly long, but um, I think it makes a good point. And the subtitle is "Place No Limit on Principle." Principle: seed, soil, plant. So he writes, "Know your own mind. Train yourself to think what you wish to think. Be what you wish to be. Feel what you wish to feel and place no limit on principle. The words which you speak would be just as powerful as the words which Jesus spoke if you knew that your word was the law whereunto it was sent. But you must know this within and not merely just accept it with your intellect. If you have reached a point where the inner consciousness believes, then your word is simply an announcement of the reality. Know without a shadow of a doubt that as a result of your treatment, some action takes place in infinite mind. In infinite mind is the actor, and you are the announcer. If you have a vague, subtle, unconscious fear, be quiet and ask yourself, who am I? What am I? Who is speaking? What is my life? In this manner, think right back to principle until your thought becomes perfectly clear again. Such is the power of right thinking that it cancels and erases everything unlike it. It answers every question, it solves all problems, it is the solution to every difficulty. It is like the sunlight of eternal truth, bursting through the clouds of obscurity and bathing all life in glory. It is the absolute with which you are dealing. God, spirit, divine intelligence. All there really is God. Now, for some of you who have not um, uh, become familiar with spiritual mind treatment, which is it's the technical name for our form of prayer, science of mind form of prayer. But we also use affirmative prayer. Um, but the essence of the prayer is that it never prays to something outside of ourselves. What it is doing is the prayer is for the part of us that doubts, that doesn't believe in this truth of who we are. That what our desire, what we're feeling is our desire, that we're not worthy of or capable of stepping into. That's what it is for, to convince our own, to convince those parts of ourselves that doesn't believe that we could be that. The truth is, we can be so much more than that. But we have to start right where we are. Lastly, Eleanor Roosevelt says, the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Steve Jobs, don't let the noise of others' opinion drown out your inner voice. And C.S. Lewis, you are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. And so I leave you, hopefully, with a greater respect and feeling of optimism in the power of your dreams and the recognition of that. Namaste.